them out. Check them out.
All right, folks, here we are. Round 1, episode 1. By vote only. That I was gonna do a guest. I currently don't have another mic, so that would have been a little harder. We would have had to like pass it back and forth. So I wasn't. So it really did make sense, I guess, to just to lay it down. Just me for the first one. But I just want to just talk a little bit about this podcast and what it's going to be about, because I've probably been watching podcasts for I don't know, I'd say since I was like 15 or 16 now, so a few years, 3 or 4 years maybe, and I love them, man. Like I'm obsessed with Joe Rogan's podcast and a few other ones, Tim Ferriss, just to name a couple, but they're just a different form of there's a different medium. You can do so much more. You just have a conversation, or you want to talk to somebody. It's really just that's really all it is, and you start, and rather than you online, on social media, you have these minute clips and maybe have a 10-second clip, but that's all you're getting out of people, so to actually sit down with somebody and really pick their brain and figure out what they're about is something different. And that's really the point of this. That's going to really be the point of this podcast, to take people that I see mostly on social media, hopefully people that I see in person too, but maybe not, and to really just see what they're all about. And you guys kind of know me. You know me pretty well, at least, especially people that went to school with me. But I definitely did some growing up in the last year, and I think that it kind of came to a point now where I have the ability to do this, and I was just finally like, I really just have to fucking do this, don't I? And actually, I was listening to a podcast, Joe Rogan podcast yesterday with a guy named Christopher Ryan, and they were just like, wow, they were just talking about podcasting and how it's just so much different and how it's just changed their lives. And I was like, you know what, that's really all I need to start this thing. If you know me, you know that I can just fucking talk, man. Like, I'll just keep going forever. And so I think that's gonna be really cool to see. I mean, I'm trying to have some really good times on this thing, and trying to just see where it goes. I mean, I'm gonna have some cool people on. I'm gonna have my best friends on. I got some guests that I'm really excited for, and hopefully maybe it takes off. I mean, I really don't care. That's really not the point. I think the point is honestly for me, as much for me as it is for other people, because I want to see if I can do it. I want to see if I can make a good podcast. I want to see if I could find good people. I want to see if I can keep people entertained, keep them coming back. And it's really going to be two different styles. It's going to be either me here just talking and blabbering away, or it's going to be me interviewing / having a conversation with somebody. And I really just don't want to do like an actual interview. I don't want to do like a sit down, like, okay, how do you feel about this type shit? Like, I don't really want to do that. I want to do just like a regular free-flowing conversation. I think it'll be a lot better that way. So that's really the main emphasis. But I've had, even posting that the other day, I had a few, at least 5 or 6 people say, "Hey man, if you got a slot from me, you better get me on there." And that's cool. That's cool to see, because I want to get those people on there, because I know they're doing a lot, and they have interesting, like, to see what people are doing after high school is pretty cool, and to see who they are, and like what they've become, and like even past that, because I might be able to get some people on there that I don't even know. I'm trying to get people. If you're listening right now and you know somebody that's like, oh shit, this guy, you gotta talk to this guy, right? Those are the people I want to have on. Your friends that you haven't seen in a few years, but they traveled the world or something like that. That's really the type of people I want to have on here. It's not going to be just anybody, but at the same time, it's like I'm just trying to have a conversation. So anybody who can keep a conversation going, I think that's really going to be the basis of it, and the emphasis. But I think I might as well just name off a couple of names right now while I'm at it. So let me get those out. Got a bunch of notes here going on. Podcast. Okay, so these are in no particular order. I just randomly sketched them down throughout, like, I mean, there's a bunch more that I have on my phone as well, but the first one I have here is DJ Brian Conklin. He's a fucking cool guy, dude. Funny story about him, which I probably tell it when he gets on here, but just real quick, I was in a class at RV with him, and he, on the last day, he just goes, you know what, I'm not coming back here, man. And I was like, are you serious? You're sure, man? Like, that's crazy. You're not even gonna do another semester? He's like, nah, like, I'm gonna go DJ. And then now he's doing parties on parties, and he's having a great time. So I'm gonna have him on there. He's a great guy. We got Jenna Shoskowitz. She's a writer, and she former racer, and just a really fucking badass girl. So we're gonna get her on here. Grew up with her. She's really cool. We got Anthony Amarim. Fuck yeah, we gotta get Anthony on here. You know he's balling out just down in Nashville with the music and shit, and he's got his fan base and shit. Maybe I'll use that to give me some views on here. That would be sick, right? That's what's up. We got Johnny Garcia, an animal in the marketing world. If you want to know about business, advertising, marketing, like, you better just hit that guy up. Like, he's the man. I don't know. I found him on Instagram one day, and I don't remember how. But yeah, he's a really cool guy. He knows a lot about that. So we'll definitely get him on, have a conversation with him, see what he's up to. 'Cause he's always doing a lot. He's making videos and stuff like that. Jason Kryes, who's my middle school computer teacher. I'd love to get him on here because he's a fucking. He made like one of the most viewed teacher websites for teachers in the world, called superteachertools.com. He made so many programs for teachers. It's crazy. He's just like crazy mind. He tech whiz type of guy. Made me my first website, so that would be sick. We got Machoch, my boy Machoch. The people who know Machoch know who I'm talking about, and I'm going to get him on here. We're going to have some good thoughts. I want to get my macro professor on here because he's an animal, dude. Like, he's got so much to say about the world, you know? He's like an old head, like a true old head, and I'd love to get him on here to see what he's up to, you know? Not to see, because I see him in class, but to see like he's doing outside of class, and like what he's doing in the macro world, in the economics world, because I know he has a lot to say, because he understands kind of the dynamic of what's going on right now, and like how the world has to change to like account for all these different ways that humans are evolving and things like that. So really interesting guy. That's really all I got on this list. Honestly, I mean, obviously all my good friends, Chris Miller, Justin, Sam, James, all those guys. Like, I mean, I might get a big group one together. That would be pretty sick if we could do that. Or maybe just individual. I don't know. I was planning on doing like hour episodes, and I'll go from there. I mean, maybe even shorter than that. But I'm probably trying to do like one a week. You know, if I could get it on like a Saturday during the day, on like a weekend, you know, I'll just schedule people in, and then I think that would be really good. I think I'm going to do it like that. You know, also, I'm really doing this to work out my thoughts a little bit, because it's like you kind of put yourself under pressure when you do something like this. You have to get everything together, you know, like you have to know what you're going to say some of the time. And like in free-flowing conversation, you don't realize what you say. You know, you don't record your own conversations. Like if I told somebody, hey man, let's just have a conversation with 2 hours, they'd be like, okay, like I'll do it, but it's kind of weird, you know? Like, so when it's in a podcast form and you can go back, you can listen to it, you could kind of see the little aspects of like what you do that you'd never really know otherwise, because that you would never take into consideration. So it's kind of for that too, overall. So I think it's gonna be a good experience, man. Like honestly, I'm really excited to try to do it. Something I haven't done. It's gonna be good for the music too, because I'm trying to get musicians on here that are much more talented than I am. You know, I'm just starting out, so it's gonna be good for that too. And I'm just trying to get different perspectives and allow everybody to watch it. I'm gonna get it on as many platforms as I can. I think I have an app that'll be able to get it on iTunes and all that, and like all the other podcast places. It should be fine. I mean, it's gonna be free, guys, like all the time. Like there's no It's going to be on YouTube as well. I'm trying to do video from the start, like every time if I can, because I think that adds an element to it, because I never listen to podcasts on audio for like the first 3 years I listened to podcasts. I probably never listened to them on straight audio without the video. So I think that's a kind of a big deal. I think people sometimes they just want to see, like what they want to see the faces. It's like another element as well. And I'd like to make it so we could just look things up online, like the Joe Rogan podcast. Like you could just look them up and I'll throw them up on the screen. Like that would be really cool. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'd also like to do them live. That would be sick if I could do them live. But we'll see. We'll see where it goes. If I can, if I start building it up a little bit, then yeah, I mean, maybe we could go live and we could just schedule them out, and I'll have like a calendar, and people could be able to see. I'm already coming up with more ideas now as I go, but I can have a calendar, and then you'll be able to go look at the calendar and see who's on there, and it'll be constantly changing. But I'd like to get booked, man. Like, how awesome would that be if I could just book everybody, like in a row, and I just get the calendar going? That would be sick. That'd be really nice. And I hope the background's good. I got just my straight OGs back there, the rap wall. You got the rock. I got the rock wall right above me now. But we'll switch it up. I mean, when we do two people, I guess we'll probably just sit on a couch or something. I mean, this is the widest angle I can go right here on my desk. So we'll probably like angle it like this, and we'll like zoom in, so I guess it'll work out like that. Yeah, that'll probably be good. Do it I'd like to do some in random places too. I feel like that would be cool. Like go out in the woods, or like go out on the bluffs or something, and just like hang out up there and do one. Like that'd be cool. Different locations, just get out of the element a little bit, Maybe, I don't know. It's just ideas really at this point. So yeah, I just wanted to go over. I don't really think I have much else going on here. Oh yeah, I gotta get the website going as well. I got my boy Aaron working on that. He's a true OG when it comes to the website game. He's making me a dope website right now, so I'm waiting for that to get up. And we're working on that. I didn't know what I wanted to name it, so I was gonna name it like Bopcast. Because like Sully Bop, like Bopcast, like that would be kind of cool. But then I didn't want it to be tied to me. Like I don't want it to be my podcast, like it's not really about me. It's gonna be mostly about the people I have on here to talk, So I was gonna name it like Millennial Mind, or like Millennial Mindset, because I think that's really kind of what we're going through right now. And most of the people that are listening to this, I'm trying to get high functioning millennials on here, like, so people can learn from them, and also people who aren't like my fucking teachers, like people who are older too, who could tell us like, hey, listen, like, here's some advice, for the people watching, and like, because it's gonna be mostly a younger audience, at least I assume. So that's really like most of my plans for this thing. I mean, it's just gonna be whatever it is, and that's just how it is. But I think I'm gonna just transition real quick and go into some Monday thoughts. I was gonna make this episode like a half an hour. We're about halfway right now, so I'm gonna see if there's anything I can get my mind wrapped up in real quick. Yeah, let's see what we got. By the way, appreciate the support on the Monday thoughts. I really just, another thing just very similar to the podcast is I just did it just so it made sure I could get my thoughts in line for 1 minute. It's tough, man, because I always record them and I'm like watching the time and I'm like, oh man, it's gonna hit a fucking minute. I got so much more to say. So this will be an elaboration of the Monday thoughts, which is cool. And I'd also like people to send me the Monday thoughts as well. Like if you guys have any ideas, I'd love to elaborate on certain things. I'm trying to read books and trying to figure out new topics all the time. So, but yeah, this is really it's just pretty much Monday thoughts on steroids right now. So that's pretty cool. It's gonna be a good way to elaborate on my small minute clips that you guys see every Monday. And I've loved doing them, and they're getting like 400 views each one, so that's cool. Like I'm gonna keep doing them as long as people keep watching them. And I think each time I get a little better, and each time I get a different subject, a cooler subject, maybe more in depth, maybe less in depth, maybe more broad, maybe something about humans or business or whatever I'm interested in, music, like whatever I'm interested in the moment, right? I really just record them randomly, like during like. It doesn't even have to be a Monday. I'll just pretend like it's fucking Monday and just be like, oh, it's a beautiful Monday. But I'll be recording it on Thursday or something because I'm in that mode, you know? But yeah. Let me see here. Oh, you know what? I'm going to talk about one that I haven't talked about on Monday Thoughts yet. At least I don't think. I actually no, maybe I have a little bit. It's most in my stories a little bit. But I wanted to talk about like something interesting that I was thinking about the other day. Before we had phones, you would get a voicemail, right? On your answering machine, which is fucking like Stone Age shit now. And you get the voicemail, right? Say it was from your girlfriend, like it was from your ex, it was from somebody you don't like. It could be anybody. It could be a great voicemail. But that's all you had. Like that was all of the media that you had. Like this thing is like a voicemail times a million, and it's all at you at the same time. But like imagine just listening to a voicemail and then for the next 3 days before somebody else left you a voicemail or called you up. That was all you had to think about. Now it's like, so it'd be in your mind, but now it's just like, oh, I'm just going to like just open a different app, or I'm just going to scroll down a little farther and boom, like I don't have to think about that picture anymore. Like the way that we consume media has changed so drastically in the in the span of time over, what is it, like it's got to be like 15 years, maybe 20 years maximum. But just the way that we take it in is so crazy. Like one voicemail was all you had, and now you have 400 text messages in like 1 week, some people in 1 day. Some people send 500 Snapchats a day, you know, and it just used to be a voicemail. So that was it. Like it was somebody, and like voicemails, you have to give a fuck too, you know? That's crazy too. You have to like, you had one chance with that voicemail. Like if you left 2 voicemails, you were just like a fucking idiot, man. Like what were you doing, bro? Like what were you doing leaving 2 voicemails? Like that voicemail was important. It's not like you could just send another text and go like, yo, like asterisk, you know, my bad, like I misspelled that, or like I said it wrong. Like you just had that voicemail, like that was it. Like you just had to get your point across, you know, in one shot. And like that's pretty crazy how it's the landscape has changed so much. We don't even fucking call people anymore. Like we barely even we don't even do like I just hang up. Like I don't even give a shit about a voicemail. They're not gonna listen to it. I'm probably not gonna listen to my voicemails, because nobody really leaves me any. That just text me, you know. So we have evolved so fast into voicemails, into 400 text messages, and it feels like we've devolved too, because voice is better. Voice has more articulation than a text. A text is just text, you know. I mean, there's only so much emotion that you could possibly put in it, right? And like obviously we have like emojis and shit like that, but that's nothing compared to voice. But actually Apple is changing the game with the talk on the text, you know, like you click it and then you record the voice and it sends it in a text. That's cool. That's cool. I kind of, that's like a mini voice, like they're kind of bringing it back a little bit. It's kind of like an upside down bell curve. It's like, here's a voicemail, and then we went down with the text, and now we're coming back up with the mini voicemail text. like that's kind of just how it's going, which is kind of weird to think about, honestly, because like this whole like nobody knows we don't know what the hell we're doing. Like we don't know what this technology is doing to us. I'm gonna quote Action Bronson after he takes a huge fat dab. Is what is this doing to us? We don't know. You know, we really don't know what it's doing. It's just doing. You know, we're just sending little mini voicemails and fucking gifs, man. Like if this is how we communicate, we are so fucked. Like that is a devolve too. Like it doesn't make any sense to go from movies, like movies were like the big shit. Like that was like like everybody went to the movies to go see movies right before like the internet and stuff. And now we send little tiny movie clips to people to make them know that we're interested in them. like that is also a devolved situation. There's no I don't see much progress. Like it's just kind of like a side road. Like we were just going straight, and then we just took this fucking path over here, and you know, these little mini movie things. Those are cool. We're just gonna communicate with those. Like we have whole conversations with these little videos with no sound behind them, little gifs, you know, which is crazy. I mean, how does that even work? Like, what? Like, who's fucking making this shit? You know, I don't know, man. That's a little crazy, bro. Who's designing this, bro? Like, I don't want to be that guy, but like sometimes I'm that guy, you know? Sometimes I'm like, I don't know about this thing, you know? This is getting a little sketchy, you know? You know, we've been at it for a while now. I had an iPhone in like 8th grade, you know? I mean, goddamn. This is crazy. The first generation of full phone usage, full-fledged. You know, that's why it was good to go off of it, you know, for a little while, that I did that a few times. It was cool. It was cool. It was definitely cool. Did I mention that? Did I say that enough times? But other than it being cool, it was very refreshing to realize, like, oh, shit, I'm bored now. Like, I was literally sitting in this chair, like, what am I going to do? Like, I already made, like, my beats for the day. Like, I made some songs. I read my book, like, oh shit, I did everything now. Now what I do? Like, I have nothing to go. I have nothing to just stare at, just like tunnel vision into my phone anymore. You know, I would just like write notes on it. Like, I mean, I do that anyway, but that was all I had. You know, I didn't. When I get off social media, and like a few people that I know would be like, oh, I got off for 6 months. I'm like, you're wild, man. Like, how do you even do that? I feel like it would be really good for the mind, because like this is. I mean, I've said this before, and, like, I feel like I'm beating a dead horse, but, like, really, this is the last time, people. Like, this is the last time to go off social media. It is, if you think it's ingrained in our lives right now, it is going to be in our bodies probably later on. You know, we're going to have, like, magic fingertips. It's going to be a Black Mirror episode, and we see our memories on the TV and shit. Yeah, that's going to be real. I mean, why not? I'm doing a fucking podcast right now. Like, it's going to be, other things are going to be real, you know? And if you told me I would be doing a podcast when I was, like, 14, 15, like, making YouTube videos, I would have been like, really? It's a weird evolution of media consumption, you know? Or media usage, rather. But, yeah, it's pretty interesting to think about. Because it's going to be some, like, straight up, Black Mirror is happening. Like, there is no doubt about it. I mean, it's just like they're just letting us know first, because they can do it in a cinematic, you know, sense, because they know what's going on. But like, Elon Musk is just gonna Elon Musk the shit out of all of this, and we're gonna have drones and like Amazon dogs and I don't know what's gonna happen, but it's going to be crazy, you know? And, like, the drones aren't going to be bullshit like pussy drones. Like, they're going to be real drones that can fly, like, hundreds of miles, like military, and then just bring your Amazon package right to your doorstep. Which is, I mean, you know what they did, though? Which was fucking stupid. Did you see that thing that they did? They had it so the Amazon so the UPS guy or something could go inside of your house and there's like a camera in your door. Like, that's gonna stop him. Like, people, like the UPS guy doesn't understand how masks work. And they're just, and he's just gonna go, and he's gonna see the camera go, oh, yeah, there's a camera there. Like, obviously I'm not gonna, what if you got like something nice as shit just laying, like, there's too many possibilities. Like, that's one of those things that isn't gonna work, you know? And nobody would sign up. Like, nobody would sign up. Like, who wants that guy going in your house? Like, nothing against those guys, too. Like, I know people who work for those companies, and they're good people. Like, but it's just I feel like even those people would be like, yeah, I don't want to go in somebody's house. I feel like that's kind of like a liability, you know? And also with this Alexa voice stuff, man. Like, some people say it's the next thing. I mean, you watch a Gary Vaynerchuk video, and he's still preaching it's going to be the next big thing, and voice is going to... I mean, voice is right now. Like, you might be listening to this podcast right now on voice rather than just the video version, which is cool, and I really appreciate that. And I think it's cool, too, because that's what I do when I'm driving in the car. I throw on a podcast or, like an audio book or something, you know. But I don't think the Alexa shit is really going to pop. Like, I don't know about that. It's just too weird, man. It's too 1984. It's too Zuckerberg, you know, getting in all of our data and big data, and like, I don't like that. I don't like him listening. Like, all right, I already have this thing with like 2 cameras and a mic. You know, like, fuck. I don't need any more. Like, and this thing could talk to me and have a conversation. Like, yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know if that's going to be the new wave. I don't think I'm buying one. I think they're cool, but I don't think I'm buying one, folks. It ain't happening. It ain't happening. But you know what? I wanted to make this episode. I was going to do an hour, but I was like, I'm going to make it 30 minutes. I don't even know who's going to watch this thing, but what I'm gonna do is thank you for making it to the end, or if you didn't, I am splitting it up in the comments. If you're watching this on YouTube, I am splitting it up in the comments, or not in the, what the fuck am I saying, in the description. And I'm going to have it so it'll be, like, incrementally, like, okay, I talk about this here, I talk about this here, like, at 23 and 15, and so, like, you'll be able to go, and, like, so you can skip the boring shit. You can just skip around, because, like, I just blabber about shit, so. All right, so to wrap this up, I do a lot. I'm going to get over that. I've realized that. And to wrap this up, I just want to say thank you to everybody who is watching this. This is episode 1 of the Millennial Mind podcast. With your host, Sully Bop on the drop, slipping and ripping and dipping the flow all times. I appreciate the view. I'm going to throw some clips of this probably on Instagram. So if you came from those, then thanks a lot. If you're new to the podcast, here we are. This is what I'm doing. I'm going to have guests, though. It's not always going to be like this. I decided to get on here and shoot the shit with myself and see what happens. So it's been cool. I appreciate it. We're gonna have a lot of guests. This is gonna be cool, guys. I can't wait, honestly. So I'm gonna wrap this up. I really appreciate it, and I'll catch you guys later. Sully Bop out. Millennial Mind podcast. Stay tuned.